Alright, it's been a while since I've done one of these. I think the last one I did was on PSO1, and how I still play it today after like 20 something years now. So in this one I wanted to talk on PSO2, especially New Genesis, now that I've put in so many hours into that, and I've pretty much put that game down, and I don't think I'm ever going to go back to it. So with PSO1, as I mentioned in the other video, the main hook, the main grind in that game is the end game loot grind, with some weapons having such astronomical drop rates. We're talking 1 in 5,000, 1 in 6,000, 1 in 7,000. These weapons were extremely rare, and that was the meat of the game after you reached max level, or as you just started reaching max level in the ultimate difficulties. You started to take random routes, do random missions, do things like that to hopefully run into rare spawns and then get these things so that the drop rates would be more favorable. This whole grind is what pushed a lot of people in the game, because everything in that game was unique. Everything in that game was special. Even if the weapon that you got wasn't the best, it still had a 1 in 2,000 drop rate, which meant that it was cool. It meant it was unique. It felt special when you found it. In New Genesis, the main grind is cosmetics, and that's where I kind of feel the game is falling a little flat for me. Now that I've done everything in the game, every time a new update comes out, a new level cap increase, I go in, I play it for about a week, and then I just put it down because there isn't really a hook. And as I've talked to more people who play the game, the main hook is cosmetics. It's cosplay stuff. It's getting rare looks, rare hairstyles, rare outfits, and things like that, which harkens back to the PSO1 days of wanting your character to look unique with rare gear and things like that, where it's almost like SEGA went, well, we can't lock weapons and armor and units and mags behind premium currency, because that would be pay to win then. So what can we do? Well, we can lock cosmetics and then make cosmetics be the end game content, thus drawing in cash. And it seems like that's what they're trying to do. And the big kicker to me that really sunk that into me was the big update which was announced that was going to be player housing and terraforming or whatever in your player housing. Because as that was going on, I saw in the chat people being like, can't wait to make the X-Men house, or I can't wait to do this, I can't wait to do that. And I was just like, oh my god, that's it. They're doing this to once again make people buy the premium currency to do the scratch offs, to then hopefully get the thing that they need to build their house the way that they want it, just like people are buying the scratch offs to hopefully get the cosmetic drop that they need. So yeah, that's the main loop with PSO2 New Genesis, and that's why I just don't see myself going back to it. I really hope that they push out tons of content. I really hope that there's battles or boss rushes or something. The combat is fun, you know, everything else is fun, but when you reach the end game, you realize that there really isn't anything to do. There's no rare drops to hunt. There's no rare armors to hunt for. There's no rare mags to hunt for. There's no building your mag to be special. There's nothing. There's nothing. The boss fights are all pretty generic. Everything, there's just nothing there, and that's why you're seeing everybody just play dress up with their characters, and there's nothing wrong with that. People love cosmetics in every other game, so of course it's going to be big for SEGA with PSO2. But for an OG like me, who's in my 30s, who played PSO1 and put so many hours into that, who still plays it, PSO2 is missing that hook. They made the hook be cosmetics, which don't really matter to anything, and it just never really connected with me. It's connected with a lot of people, don't get me wrong. A lot of people, if you look in the PSO2 Reddits, are all about the whole cosmetic and cosplay and all that stuff, and it seems to be paying off for SEGA, especially seeing how excited everybody was to build their home and decorate it and, you know, get all the cosmetic drops for that. You know, it seems to be working. But for me, as an older player who grew up with weapons and the rare drops and the rare armors and the rare mags being the main hunt, and these like astronomical drop rates being the main hunt, which made it feel so special when you got one of these things. Now I'm watching people do scratch offs for hairstyles. Like that's the main hook, I guess. And it's just not really resonating with me. Right now, I know I'm not the only one that's a little disappointed. not the only one that wants a little bit more from it in terms of gameplay and in terms of the gameplay loop. So I guess we'll just see where it goes. I know the gloom and doom people, there's a lot more people that are gloomy and doomier than me. Yeah, I'm just voicing my concerns about how the gameplay loop is kind of and that the only big thing to do in the game is to grind for costumes and outfits and hair and pay money for it. There's a lot more people that are, this game's dead, it's gotta die. Yeah, I hope it doesn't die. I hope people keep spending money. I hope people keep spending money on the haircuts and the ginormous boobs and all of that. I hope they keeps happening and Sega keeps making money so that they see the Phantasy Star fan base is thriving. I don't want this game to fail. I want it to be successful, even if it's not targeted towards me, so that maybe we get something that is more targeted towards me and the older PSO fans or the older Phantasy Star fans in the future. So that's just my thoughts on Phantasy Star New Genesis. I'm kind of curious what others feel like in the Phantasy Star community, the Dreamcast community, the GameCube community, what they feel about New Genesis and how it kind of feels. Like I said, I know I'm not the only one. I'm in those retro gaming communities. I'm on Twitch. I see what people are saying. So I'm just kind of curious what people on YouTube are saying, though. Are you guys big fans of New Genesis? Do you like this cosmetic hunt? Do you like the end game just being, let's hope I get the scratch off that gives me a huge rack? Is that what you want from New Genesis? Because if so, that's cool. That's awesome.